there's very basic concepts that comes down to this. How do you know that it's a single dose? Most of my clients are polysubstance abusers. I mean, they take anything that they can get their hands on. And they don't take it one time, they take it many times, and they're always constantly taking uppers, downers, and trying to get even. Okay? And so the big question that you have in a drug case is, how do you know it was a single dose event? Especially with someone who's on a maintenance program that has to do with a therapeutic level being required, such as methadone, such as Xanax. If you do a lot of DUI-D cases, Xanax by far is the thing that I see the most. By far. It's probably the most evil drug that I've come across because it's highly addictive. People don't realize it, and they wake up addicted to it, and they even start shooting it. It's really kind of ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. Lorazepam's another popular one, anxiety-related drugs. This is a graph showing a blood drug concentration over time with a single dose. What is the blood concentration time at the event? Pre-peak blood level or post-peak blood level. It's usually impossible to predict, and it can only be measured at the time of the event. This is why you need 8 to see where you are on this curve. Cmax is a peak, Tmax is time, okay? And so that's the intersection. That's the worst the person's going to get. There's a very steep, typically very steep absorptive phase and a very steep elimination phase. And this is what it all comes down to. Where? Where on this curve, because you only have one point in time, are you? The time of the blood sample. Are we there? Are we there? Is it there? We don't know. That's a big problem with DUI-D cases from a prosecutor's point of view. Now, this is where it gets even more complicated. This is where you will absolutely, potentially, show that trying to do a DUI-D case is very, very impossible when you only have a magic number. It's the chronic dose sample error. And what I mean by that is re-upping. If you're on some sort of maintenance program, such as, again, methadone, for example, what happens is the person is trying to get to a therapeutic level throughout the day, a target area, if you will. When it comes to things that have short half-lives, meaning they have short active components in your system, lorazepam, very short. People have to keep on taking it throughout the day. It's like your aspirin that you have to take every 4 hours, but guess what? You cheat and you take it every 2 hours. Same thing happens with pharmacological drugs. People cheat. And what ends up happening is you have these mini peaks that build up because you haven't eliminated it, and over a period of time, where on earth are you on that? Where on earth are you on that? It takes 6 half-lives, generally speaking, to get out 97% of the analate in the system. If you remember the old adage in statistics, maybe you were exposed to it, maybe you weren't, the frog jumping halfway across this table. If it's jumping halfway, and then halfway again, and halfway again, and halfway again, it will never get off the table, okay? That's basically what you have with respect to DUI-D cases. So you have to really take a look at it, and it really comes down to another unique thing that a lot of states are doing. I know Georgia just recently had a great case. Alan Trapp had it, and that had to do with an equal protection argument. Equal protection meaning that when you have one state person doses in, I don't know, Boston, you know, and comes over here and drives. And then the question is, you know, where's the crime and where's it happen, right? You know, does it happen here if it's legal and they're over there? I mean, you know, you have equal protection issues and problems. The biggest one, of course, right now is medical marijuana. Medical marijuana. Some lucky sap over in California has permission to smoke some dope. He gets on the plane, comes over here, although you guys aren't a metabolite state, comes over to Pennsylvania. He has the inactive, the carboxy in his system, gets stopped by, you know, Deputy Donut, and you know, gets a blood draw, and it shows the inactive metabolite that's there. Legal in California, legal when he ingested it, but somehow in Pennsylvania, because we're a metabolite state. That's something that you folks should be aware of and take a look at it. It is not possible to predict where on the dose response curve an individual person is on the dose response curve. I mean, notice that on the left side of the graph, okay, that the amount of drug to give the same effect for 100% of the population may vary fourfold in this example. What I mean by that is therapeutic levels. Okay, this is a bell curve, and I'm not going to get into a lot of details that go along with it. But here's the graphic representation. You can take a look at it. By the way, I included all this stuff in your materials available for download. What happens here is that you have someone here who at this particular nanograms per deciliter or milligrams per deciliter, over here it causes hypnosis, over here it causes death. And so you can have a different pharmacological effect. And so the bottom line of it is, your mom was right. You are unique. You are a snowflake. Okay? Because you are a snowflake, don't let your state expert come in and say, your mom's wrong. Okay? You are unique. Your response to drugs will be unique. Impaired. That's why it has to be related back to symptomology. How the person behaved at the roadside, how they were, and how you can articulate it. And you just fall into the old things that Jack was saying a while ago, looking for reasonable explanations that the officer can't exclude. Nervousness, klutz, things of that general nature. So what you have to talk about is all of those things and bring them from the DUI context over the DUI-D. It's no different, okay? And usually what happens is you have someone who has high anxiety problems. They're on Xanax or something like that. Well, guess what happens at roadside? It's not going to be, the most favorable thing that's going on in their life at that point in time. It's going to be a high anxiety moment for them. And so you're just pouring fuel on top of the fire, and no wonder why they're sitting there and they're having problems doing heel to toe and all that good stuff. Okay? So the bottom line of it is, don't let an expert get away with opining that they are able to predict the pharmacologic effect of any drug based upon a drug level alone. When it comes to an impairment state like you folks, don't let them do it. It has to be related to symptomology.